Welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 337 for January 16th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
I'm another one of your hosts, Kelly.
And
that's it.
That's it for today. So, just going to be the two of us, and it's going to be, I don't think
a shorter show?
It'll be regular. It'll be a regular length show. We've been getting kind of long. Some of our shows have been getting into that 2 hour mark, 2 hour plus. And that's a little bit long. So I don't mind if we just do like an hour and a half, only an hour and a half show.
Yeah, but sometimes people, I've been hearing from people that 2 hours is not too bad. They like it so that they can go on long trips, and put us on and get to their destination. And
yeah, that's one thing I like. If I got to drive to Calgary and back, that's like 6 hours of driving.
You can put on what Trevor did in Guns, and he
just zoned out.
It's straight down too, so I just get on the highway and just point it in that direction. Have a nap.
Turn on cruise, turn on lane control, kick back, relax. Perfect. Well, what we did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Their Geisley order arrived, so they have a wide selection of Geisley AR parts, including triggers. So go check them out, Calgary Shooting Centre.
Yay! Geisley. I'm going to have to go and check it out.
Kelly, did you want to start us off?
Okay. So on Saturday, I had the Gunny Girl calendar at SFRC. I'm wearing the SFRC hat tonight just to say thank you to them. So we wanted to... we had Jen, Tamara, and Bailey who were in the calendar, this year's calendar. They came out and did a signing, and I did want to say actually thank you to Ryan and Marcy for hosting us as well. It was like pouring. It was 8 degrees and pouring. We had flooding everywhere. There was like, Noah was building an ark, that sort of thing that was happening. So the traffic was actually surprising, and we sold a ton of calendars. What was happening is if you bought a calendar, you got 15% off in store. So it was kind of good for them too. They sold a lot of guns that day, and as I said, we got Jen and Tamara and Bailey. They signed a lot of calendars. So I did want to say hello to a couple people that came in. There was Mark. Mark T came in with Cooper, his puppy. It was not really a puppy. Cooper is a big German Shepherd. He came in, and then also Tim W. He's a listener, and he came in and he basically spent about an hour in there chit-chatting with everybody, and he bought a whole bunch of stuff, and he was talking to me, he was talking to Kelly Kincaid, he was talking to basically everybody, but it was nice to meet him as well. What else? We went out afterwards and had a little bit of a bite to eat, but it was good to actually hang out with some people that I like to hang out with, and I'm going to be shooting with on Sunday as well, because we decided we were going to go shooting. While I was there,
out there, the weather is nice enough you can shoot.
Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
It's supposed to be not bad. So it's a girls' day. No guys are allowed. We're going shooting because I picked this up while I was there. This came in, and this is my new Troy AR. It's 14.5-inch barrel. It's lovely. And I even
got an optic for it.
Mounted the red dot. Yeah, it's Crossfire red dot. And I got made fun of by Dave Kratke. And I have to actually mention, because Dave's watching, I have to mention, Dave made fun of me for finally putting an optic on my AR. But he's also the guy that took a year and a half to fix the trigger on his CZ too, right? So he was talking about me taking all my time putting optics on. Anyways, so the AR, it comes with one magazine. The magazine is actually a 10-rounder because it's an A4 pistol magazine. So that's cool. Really cool. Yeah. Comes with one of those. And then I also picked up some magazines as well. The other cool thing that I did was I met up with Kelly Kincaid, and Kelly Kincaid, we call ourselves Kelly Squared. Went in once a month or so, sometimes twice a month. We meet up and we talk about things that we need to do with respect to planning for our events and different things like that. So normally we go and we meet up at at this chocolate place. So I met with her on Wednesday night, and we talked about the Toronto Sportsman Show that's coming up, as well as we're planning a Maple Seed boot camp for all of our instructors for Ontario.
Cool.
So we're going to be doing it at Kelly's Place in February. So it's going to be cool. We got to eat some chocolate fondue, which was really good. And yeah, so I met up with her. I wanted to talk about these in case people didn't know about them. I'm sure that you have because I talk about them every week. But this is the new calendar. I haven't showed one yet. This is Jen. She was at the event on Saturday. So Jen Christensen, she's been in there before. This is Trinity. So go out, buy a calendar, and register it. On the back, there's a number. And once you actually register the number, every 2 weeks, we're going to have a draw for all kinds of different things. It's ammo. Well, I don't know if we have ammo. We might have ammo. We have all kinds of different prizes and different things like that. Register it because it's basically a raffle ticket as well. But it's $20. And then you actually support the CCFR women's group, which is what I'm helping do. Basically, we're putting on events for ladies across the country.
I was having just if I could play on your ladies group thing there. I was having some conversations with some people about changing the public perception of
we have to do that
firearms ownership and what we can do about that. And I think the Ladies' Day events are such a fantastic way of doing that.
Okay,
that's
I think that we have to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really do. And the funny thing is, these events, wherever we're having them, women want to go to them. Like, these things are selling out because people just want to go. They want to go and try it out. They want to have fun. The majority of women that go, by the time that they're done, they think it's the best thing they've ever done in their whole entire life. But it is going to actually change our shooting sports to get more women in. If we can get more women in, we're going to get more kids in, and we're going to actually continue it. That's why the CCFR has a women's division, basically, is because we need to actually get more women in. And to do that, we're going to have more of these events. And last year, we had almost 1,000 ladies come and brand new women come out and shoot. And that's huge in Canada when you look at our population, right? Because what we're doing right now is we're kind of combating some of the anti-guns. And I'll be honest with you, our government, I'm getting political. Our government listens to women, and especially if they're anti-gun, and we need to actually have more women step up as well. Mm-hmm. So that's why I actually chose to do it too. I love shooting, and I like to get other women into shooting. So come on out to any of these events. If you actually want to have an event, contact me. You can do it here at the show, or you can actually just email me or message me on Facebook or whatever, and we'll see about getting an event at your range as well. Because yeah, we need to do that. And Adriel's been fantastic with that. He's been helping out like at Chaz and Sherwood Park.
And the other guy. We've got a ton of support out here. That
you have a ton of support. Yeah, you have some great executive there, and you have a fantastic, like Lisa is fantastic, and Joe and everybody. So you have some really great support. Alberta won't have fantastic problems for gun ownership. So just wanted to say thank you to you guys.
Plug the province.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's basically what I did. Oh, the other thing that I did, I don't look like crap. I don't think. I finally set up my computer. It's been a month, I know. But I do have the new computer all set up, and we're using it tonight for the show. So I wanted to say thank you to Adriel as well for sending me a new computer and being patient with me for not actually setting it up for a month. But I kind of was.
You're being generous with the month. It was much longer than a month. Come on.
Yeah, okay. It's been sitting here for a while. I've been so busy with work. I was away, and then my life has been like 7 a.m. till midnight writing.
The quality looks much better, and some of our listeners mentioned, our viewers mentioned last week that it looked potato quality. Now it's much better than potato quality.
Flip phone was what was mentioned, and Trevor said, "Yeah, filters from Snapchat or whatever."
Nokia.
So I said, yeah, but I do have my computer set up, so thank you, Adriel. Yeah.
No problem.
All right, Adriel, what you do in guns this week?
Practically nothing. It was so cold here. Edmonton had like a cold snap, polar vortex came down.
What's it at right now?
With wind chill, it's minus 37 right now.
That's fine.
Without, I think it's just like minus 30, somewhere around there. But it's been like we've been hitting wind chills of like minus 45, minus 46, that kind of thing. We've been breaking records in terms of how cold it is. Sunday, it's going to warm up to minus 18, and that's I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be a fantastic day. But then right after that, it's going to warm up even more. I think we're going to get down to like minus 5 or something. I'm probably going to go outside in some shorts and
So Sunday I'm going out to the range, and it's going to be 0.
I would do the range at 0. Like at minus 30, I've gone to the range at minus 30.
I've shot
with wind chill, it's too much for your hands. Like there's just no way to keep them warm. You're holding on to like an aluminum gun or something like that, and it just soaks the heat right like through the gloves. It soaks the heat right out, and your fingers freeze really quickly.
Right, and the gun's not functioning all that well either.
They don't like to run in. Well, you can make them run. You can towel off a lot of the oil and just leave them. There's still going to be like a very thin film on there, but very thin, and that works okay. You need to make sure that they're like conditioned to the cold. You don't like move them from hot to cold too quickly. They can get condensation and that can freeze up in there. But yeah, you can make them run. Yeah. And that's semi-auto. It's like a lot of the bolts and pump guns and that kind of thing. Those guys run just fine. Yeah. I got a response. So I don't know if I mentioned it on the show or not. I had emailed the Alberta ministry in charge of wildlife and that kind of thing, and I'm like, "Yo, guys, previous NDP government banned spear hunting. I think it was a stupid move."
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah, I did mention that. So I emailed them and I said, "I think it was a stupid move. Very few people do this. The only people who do this are super into it, super enthusiasts." And have been doing it in accordance to how they feel is ethical to hunt. And I got a response on it, and the response was they had actually done a consultation of some kind. They had surveyed some hunters on what they felt about a couple different things. They put in like sub-poundage bows, crossbows during bow season, and they asked them about a couple of things like that. And the resounding response was leave it as it is. Which they did some consultation. I'm not a super fan of like even doing it like that though, because what you end up with is tyranny of majority.
Yeah.
So if the majority of hunters are FUDs who just want to keep it as it is right now, you'll never get it. You'll never get any change. You'll never get people who are on the fringes who are doing something that they enjoy, who can be let to do what they want to enjoy. So I was really like I was glad I got a response. It was really cool. I'm glad they did the consultation. That was really cool. I don't agree with asking hunters what they feel about different things and then making legislation based on it, because you end up with tyranny of majority.
So it'd be interesting how they ask those questions, because a lot of times that you can use, they'll say they've done a survey, they can look at the statistics, etc. But it's always interesting to see what type of questions they like. Do you bow hunt? Do you cross?
He included some screen caps of it. They weren't bad questions.
Okay.
I just disagree with the asking. Like, none of these people spear hunt. You can ask 1,000 hunters in Alberta. Your chances of getting a spear hunter in there are incredibly low.
1, maybe.
I would say
maybe
0. There's probably like 5 to 10 people max that spear hunt in this province or used to spear hunt. Probably less than 5.
Why don't you go to people that actually do and ask them what's the benefits?
Do you guys? Is this safe? Is this okay with? Are we okay with people doing this? we realize that there are people winging rounds at deer that they shouldn't, and they're wounding deer all over the place, and that's just a fact of life. Are we okay with these 5 people who spear hunt and they're super into it, and they really, like, this one guy is an Olympic javelin thrower and this other guy is, like, I don't know, ground hunting with a handheld spear, whatever crazy thing they want to do? Because I think that's a more valuable way of looking at it than surveying other hunters on what they feel about what other people are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of gun ownership. If you ask the majority of Canadians who don't own guns, should people be allowed to have guns? They'll be like, no, they don't. I don't need one, so why do they need one, right? And it seems like an ignorant way of doing it. And this survey came across the same way. I'm glad that they went through a process and all that kind of stuff. I just don't like. Yep. I don't like that they put these rules in place for the minority without really even looking at it in a more objective way, I guess.
Right.
But good way to cover your buttock for it, I guess.
But it's nice you got a response. And
yeah, that was cool. Yeah. I don't spear hunt. I will never spear hunt. I'll bow hunt and I'll rifle hunt, and I don't particularly care about spear hunting. I just am so libertarian and freedom loving that I want people to do what they want to do, as long as they're not hurting anyone. That's fine. I published some videos on the Rossi Overland and that modded out GSG 16 that I borrowed from my buddies. So
I didn't get a chance to watch them.
The GSG 16 one's fun. My overall, the Rossi is used. They don't make them anymore, so it's a side-by-side shotgun, overland, external hammers. Kind of a fun shotgun. And if I was to do cowboy action, that would be probably one of the shotguns for me.
Cool.
The GSG, a fun range gun. I think if you wanted to get some friends shooting, and you put that in their hands, they'd be like, "Yeah, this looks cool. Yeah, this is like an MP5 kind of a thing." Even though it's 22 and it's low recoil, and I think actually new shooters like that kind of stuff, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Both those are really fun. I got a whack of chamber cleaners. So I had did this one with this brass one. I used it a couple times. One thing with brass is that it actually bends and then it stays bent. And then you're like, oh, but I want it to clean there, but now it's bent. So now I got to like push it in further. But nylon doesn't bend, so I got a whole whack of these things. I gotta try to use these ones. They're really cheap. I got them from China, so who cares?
Chinese them.
Yeah. They're 25 cal chamber brushes. You know, the thing about these though is that there's not really any cheap. I don't think there's any cheap knockoff brushes. These are just probably straight out of the same factory that produces everyone else's. Because there's no other market for it, right?
No, there's not. Yeah. But I bought a ton of the brass ones.
Down.
You
might find that they bend a little bit. Yeah, but you can just fluff them up. No, didn't like that motion. No.
Fluff them up. I'm not just going to leave that comment. Anybody can. We're not going to talk about fluffers. Okay.
Okay, good. Well, now you just mentioned it, so so much for that. Not my thing, but my club donated $10,000 to the CCFR. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you to Chaz. Your club is Chaz. Just wanted to mention again. I'm giving a shout out to Chaz. But yeah, awesome.
Doing a lot of things. I mean, we're talking about winning hearts and minds of the general public. Chaz runs ladies events, open range events, family day stuff. So like more ranges have to do that, and we have to see the ranges that are fuddy and only for members. Like they can't be that anymore. We'll lose the public perception.
So
you can be fuddy and have your own members and have no guns. That's the future that we're going down if you don't tackle that public perception.
So the whole thing about, you know what, nobody else is allowed to shoot here. We don't even want to publish our address or anything like that. Yeah, that's not good. I can understand why, but I also no. But with Chaz, you guys also donate annually to the hospital as well.
Yeah, through that through our 3-gun match, right? Yeah, we do
Yeah.
about $10,000 a month, or not a month, per year.
Wow, I was
Just
gonna
with
say.
that amount, just with
Ooh,
that one event.
yeah.
And yeah, I was arguing with someone online. There's like hobby guns, like that has zero benefit to anyone. Like, well, I mean, like if you want to say zero, like here's $10,000 we raise for the Stollery once a year, right? And that's just one event. Think of all the events and all the clubs that are across Canada, right?
Right. And then you also have to think, what is the impact of that event on your economy in that area as well?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
these things we have to actually talk to people about.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Brian, just 1 second. Continue on. I have to let the dogs out.
All right. And then I ordered some. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine on Discord, and he's like, "Oh man, there's some 1911 laser grips on AliExpress. But AliExpress is like eBay,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What do you think about these?" I'm like, Well, they're $20, so I'll buy a set. I'll find out. And then I was
They're only-
also on there, and they also had like a bunch of different wood style 1911 grips for like $10 a pop. So I got a couple of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're supposed to come in.
The stuff from China is like
Slow boat.
3 to 8 weeks because it's on the slow boat. It's got to come over. It's got to like get over here. It depends on the slow boat schedule. So whenever you're ordering stuff on Ali or eBay, check the shipping details because they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's -30. I'm not itching to put my grips on my gun to go outside.
You're not going out to go and pistol shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been getting more camping gear and stuff. I ended up I was asking my buddy for some like lightweight recos, and he was like, "Oh, there's this hood that you can get that's down. I'm gonna put it on just because it's funny."
That's awesome.
It's very warm. It's made it down, and you can like squeeze this part down so that just your mouth's sticking out.
A little tough to shoot if you can't see, but
yeah, this is not for shooting. This is for like you're laying down at the end of the day
Yeah.
in your tent and you want to sleep and it's really cold. I suppose you could use it for shooting, but
yeah.
it squeezes down to like that. It gets very small.
So you've added that to your stash.
It's very warm.
Hmm.
Yeah, all sorts of weird stuff. I think that's it for stuff that I've done in guns.
Sweet.
Again, it's been cold. I'm just trying to survive. It's -30. It's cold.
It's Alberta. You're used to it.
Yeah. We are.
It's -30. It's Alberta. It's winter.
It happens.
Okay.
All right, let's get on to TACOM Canada 2020. This will be September 11th to 13th.
Yep.
The Canadian Pro Gun Podcasters Network will be in attendance at TACOM 2020. Your favorite podcasts will be on hand throughout the show, so make sure you drop by the booth to meet your favorites and pick up some swag, or drop by while we do our special live broadcast, where we'll be talking to event organizers, guest speakers, and vendors about all their new and must-have products. You can see details for the show at tacomcanada.com and stay tuned for ticket release details. I hope this is someone like responsible doing this and not me. Or are you going to this? You're going to this.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of podcasters that are going to be going. So when you say responsible, I'm going to be going. Yeah, I'll be there. But they're all your favorite podcasts. So if you are part of, so Silvercore is going to be there. Prepper Podcasts. We got people coming from the Canadian Patriot. We might even have Sean and John from M14. We have the guys. There's a new podcast there's a couple of new podcasts that have just come out or are coming out as well. Dean Carr is going to be there at his Select Shooting Supplies booth, but he is part of this network as well.
Oh, cool.
He's just about to release his podcast. He asked for some feedback on logo and everything like that, so I voted on that. And when I talked to him, when I saw him at the store, he was thankful for everybody's feedback on that. So he's going to get that set up soon. We've got some guys from Newfoundland, Mike and oh God, for the life of me, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. He's a listener too. But we have all kinds of people coming. New Shooter Canada, I think maybe George or Thomas might be coming as well.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so yep.
Awesome. The 10th annual Podcast Network charity shoot will be at the Restigouche Gun Club Saturday, July 4th. Registration and payment will be through Practice Score, and we'll set that up and send you guys the link when it's available. Support for the Officer Frank GoFundMe fundraiser is also still on. We are $155 away from $20,000, almost there.
Right. So we need to get it through that tonight. Just who's ever listening or is ever watching live on Facebook right now, and I know that we're not streaming on YouTube Live, but if you're seeing it tomorrow on YouTube or whatever, if you're listening, go on to the GoFundMe page because we really want to get over the goal tonight. It's only $155.
There we go. All right, Why don't we move on to the news? The first one, I have a couple of foreign ones in here just because it's I just kind of trends of the time, and I just kind of want to put them out there. The first one is a raid that was done in New Zealand on a firearms activist, firearms aficionado. He'd actually mentioned in a government filing, hey, this military style semi-automatic thing that you guys are talking about, my lever action 22 qualifies for it, and you guys are banning it. What the hey? This is not a military style semi-automatic. This is a 22 lever gun, and so he had put that out there. New regulations came in, and he had oh, weird! He had his house raided.
I know.
They were looking for that illegal military style semi-automatic lever action 22. That's what they were looking for. They're actually looking for a magazine for that gun because that was the part that was illegal, not the whole gun. But the magazine tube's like part of the gun, so I don't know how that works. Anyways, they didn't find it because he sold it or gave it away or something. So
we'll say that he's
tough.
Done something
tough. This is like should be chilling to you and I. Because if Canada is following New Zealand as their role model for gun control, anything we've shown on the show, I have sold, by the way, since then. It's all gone. I don't have anything. And
shoot.
You too, right?
Yes. We didn't see my new AR at all today.
No. Well, that's restricted. That's tracked anyways. You can't hide that. But you did strip it down to the receiver right afterwards, right? Just the lower?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see here. The next one I have is firearms and parts are to be removed from ITAR. So, yeah, you posted it down there too as well. But
So ITAR got updated. It means that what does it mean? Let's talk about it.
For the longest time, trying to get Cajun Gunworks parts for your CZ Shadow in Canada was not possible.
Yes.
Or it was difficult. You had to wait for one of the importers to do a batch import. You had to say, please put some of these in for me, and they would send it in. They didn't have distributors here for the longest time. I believe they have some now, but for parts like that, or for parts where they're like little cottage industry sellers, they can now send them direct. I think that's fantastic.
Right. So what it means is they don't have to pay the annual fee, which was ridiculous to send parts here. Mm-hmm. So it's basically a loosening. So we should be able to pay, or we should be able to buy more parts and things from the US and have them sent here with no problems whatsoever. That was one of the things, like, for example, if we wanted to go and train down the US, it was a concern. Same thing with coming up here. Or if we wanted to actually just even buy certain, like even a belt. I know that Greg May had an issue with that, and it was denied because of ITAR. So
a belt?
Yeah, a belt.
It
was odd. Anyways,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
this is I think this is fantastic because, again, we have our local retailers that are selling most of this stuff that have it available.
Yep.
But still, there's a lot of stuff that you just can't get. And
Right.
Midway, imagine if this is in, Midway might send to Canada, and then we could get cheap mats.
And then I was just going to say, we can get cheap mats. I usually wait until they go on sale for about $29, and then I have them shipped someplace in Michigan. Not saying where, just in Michigan.
You won't. Because a lot of these places, like Canada, you guys don't buy hard. You guys are like 1% of the U.S. We're not going to deal with that nonsense. We're not going to pay $2,000 a year and deal with these export regulations and try to figure out if it's ITAR or not. Like, what a pain in the butt. So now it's going to be a lot easier for them to ship up here. Yeah, very good. CCFR put out a video on intro to the CCFR. If you have friends who are gun owners who aren't a member, maybe send that to them. It's a quick overview of like what the CCFR's mission is, what they've been doing, and it's very, very easy to watch.
Yep. Yeah. I think that like we keep going back to it, and I know that we're talking a little bit more about it tonight than we normally do or whatever. We need to get more people into shooting, and we need to be supporting those people who actually support us. It's not good for us to have inner fighting amongst us, like people who are hunters against people who are three gunners or whatever. We need all to work together. So just go and look at the video, join the CCFR. You know what? Join other organizations too if you want to, but as long as we can all work together, then we're going to have a united voice. That's all I had to say. Exactly. We can move on now.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. The next bit is just more news out of Virginia, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because the timeline to this is now. So there's going to be a protest at January 20th is when a lot of these new laws are expected to come in, and there are a lot of them. They're putting in almost all the laws.
How many counties actually are not have said that they're not going to go along with these regulations?
Oh, I don't know. It was high. It was very high.
It was almost all of them, wasn't it? I thought.
And not some of the city ones. Like there's a reason why like Virginia went Democrat and just recently here. So like there's still some voters who are voting Democrat, and this is what you get with a Democrat government in the U.S. is gun control. So city folks, maybe, I don't know. I say that as a city folk myself, but. Anyways, there's going to be a large rally on the 20th. There's been some weird stuff happening around this. They've declared a state of emergency. They've declared that for a space around this area, you cannot have guns on you. So like no open or concealed or anything. They're just banning them entirely. They're leaving just a little spot for counter protests, and there's only 2 ways in and out of the entire area.
So they can basically
arrest everyone who's
they're keeping well, I don't know, maybe they're just keeping track and keeping an eye, and
it's weird. And anyways, that's the 20th is like Monday, I believe. Monday, so
Virginia,
that's kicking off. Let's get into new gun stuff. So if you're going to be buying some gun stuff, do it before the gun places go to SHOT Show, because a lot of them, when they're at SHOT Show, there's no one manning the place. And you can order stuff online. It ain't going to get mailed.
I was just going to say, if you order stuff, you're not getting it. Even if the store is open, you're not getting it for a while. And the reason is because basically they don't have the stock, or they've just placed the orders, and the orders still have to come from SHOT Show, and it's going to take forever and 2 days. And
so buy now.
Yeah, buy now.
Now if you're going to buy something. Yep. SFRC is running a bumper sticker contest.
Yes.
Yeah, so buy a bumper sticker and you get a chance to win a CZ Shadow 2 Canadian.
Okay, so SFRC, my favorite store ever, obviously, because it's here in Kingston, or just outside of Kingston, and they have the bumper stickers for not only for guns. They're doing that. They're quite successful at it actually, but they also have another bumper sticker on Facebook group. It's actually things that are not just guns; it's other things. So if you go to Facebook, go to SFRC, go and get on there. So there's separate groups. Basically, one's a sticker contest for guns, and one's for other things too. And you can win really really cool things.
Awesome.
Yeah. I haven't won anything yet. I'm really actually quite upset about that, though.
I think if you want to win stuff at this point, you got to invest in calendars. That's the play. Invest in calendars.
Yeah, do that. Okay.
Next one, Rangeview Sports. They're selling the Tara or Tara, I don't know, TM9 9mm pistol for $299.
And there's a reason why it's $299, right?
I don't know. It's from Montenegro, and it's kind of Glockish, but
yeah,
not
it is
Glockish.
Glockish.
Yeah, but not a Glock.
No.
But it's not competing with Glocks either. At $299, it's competing with the Norinco NP34, that the 226 knockoff, and that kind of thing. So maybe it's good for that price, at the cheapest price possible, right?
$299 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's
DASA,
like
double single action. What, is that real?
Yeah.
Really? How? It's not hammer fired. What's going on with this thing? How do they even do that? With double
Are you
single
gonna
action
order one?
trigger? No.
I just
Very
I'm
short
gonna-
reset when firing in single action, and then it does double. What the hey? How does that even work? If you want to know,
striker fire, isn't it?
you can. Yeah, but it's DASA. Like usually, striker fire is just you get a pull and then it goes off and that's it. If you get a click, you're done. You rack the slide. A DASA suggests that you can pull the trigger again and get another hammer fire on it, which a lot of hammer fired guns will do, like a Shadow or a CZ75. Those are DASA.
Yeah,
but they have a hammer, not a striker.
This doesn't. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, if you want to find out, it's $299. It's a pretty cheap way to find the answer to it.
I think the hunting gear guy should buy one and do a review on
it. Just got rid of a bunch of pistols. It's tempting though. The next one here is a Burris Full Field TAC 30. Wolverine Supplies is selling these at a pretty good discount, $365 for them. Doesn't come with the red dot or the mount or anything crazy like that on there, but it's a 30mm 3-gun or AR scope. So if you're looking for one of those, Burris has one, and Wolverine will sell it to you.
At 24.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan Schellenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Savage. So Plain Sight Solutions is bringing in the Savage Model 110 Ultralight. It's the priciest Savage I've seen. It's $1649. It's got a Proof Research carbon barrel, which I'm pretty sure Savage, like parent company or Savage self owns Proof. I'm pretty sure there's a relationship between those two. Anyways, $1649 for this ultralight rifle.
Yeah.
It's not that ultralight though. It's like 6 pounds. So 6 pounds doesn't come across as ultralight to me, but maybe it because it's got so little weight in the barrel, maybe it holds the weight to the rear.
Yeah. Is the butt pad on there? Do you think you can weight it? So you're looking at the stock, right? Look at the butt pad.
Yeah.
You think it's detachable? It
looks adjustable for length of pull. I don't think you can adjust the weight on it.
Well, it's an ultralight too, so I don't know. I'm just click here for additional details. Why don't we do that?
But it just says that here's the thing.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. 5.8 pounds, 6 pounds. Yeah, it's like 6 pounds. That's not lighter than a regular hunting rifle. Maybe I'm missing something.
Well, for PRS, you want something a little heavier anyways, don't you?
Yeah. This is like if you're going to go...
It's on the PRS side.
If you're going to go shoot sheep, you got to climb mountains, and it's like, oh man, cut a pound off your rifle, and that's like amazing, right? Because then you can wear you can take a pound heavier sleeping bag, or more water, or beer, or I don't know,
beer.
maybe not beer. Moonshine. Moonshine's very, very space effective. For
Yeah,
hiking.
you know why? Because you don't, one beer or moonshine.
The other thing I've heard for hiking is just bring weed, because that's like super ultra lightweight.
Jesus.
Next thing.
Okay.
Tenda is bringing in this Hungarian 762 by 39. It's brass case, boxer primed, and it will pass a magnetic test. So
Really?
if you like shooting your SKS indoors, you've probably been having a real tough time trying to get ammo that works, because indoor ranges typically don't allow bimetal or anything that sticks to a magnet.
Nope.
And this will do it, and it's new production, so kind of interesting. I would say if you're part of an outdoor range or you don't need brass case lead core, the other stuff's cheaper, like a lot cheaper. But if you want to compete with your SKS or your Type 81 or VZ58 or whatever, this stuff would be not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. And it's only $500.
$500 for 900 rounds. Yeah.
Right.
Keep in mind, like, there's non-corrosive and corrosive that's both cheaper than that, but not brass cased. So you wouldn't be able to pass a magnetic test. So that's the interesting part there. This next one, I don't know if we've seen this one before or if we've talked about it before. We've talked about the IWI Masada. It's that 9mm pistol that IWI is putting out. But Rangeview Sports has an optics-ready version, which it seems like a lot of pistol manufacturers are doing these days, because I think it's easy to do. You machine in a little spot, and you put a plate in there and call it a day, right?
Yep.
If you're looking for an optics-ready pistol, the IWI Masada is $559 at Rangeview Sports.
$100 off. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Man, more Turkish stuff. West Rifle is bringing in a rifle called the Monza. I missed this one when they first announced it, but I'm bringing it up now. And it's a 308 bolt gun. So we've seen a lot of shotguns out of Turkey. We've seen some pistols. We have not seen very much for rifles. And this will be the first, I guess. I have no idea what action style this is running. I took a look at it and I thought, like, oh yeah, it's a REM 300, until I saw the safety and the bolt, and I'm like, oh, it's not. Oh, sorry, REM 700.
All right.
Yeah, it's not that. So I don't actually know what this thing's built on. It might be proprietary. It's got a couple of interesting things. It's got like an adjustable cheek riser built into the stock.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Like a pick rail on the top that's got like iron sights built in, which I have no use for, but the pick rail's cool. I have no idea what these things cost. I'm kind of interested, more just to know like where it's at.
Yeah. No, it doesn't give you any information at all.
Not really.
Okay.
I couldn't really find much online.
Okay.
The last one, and again, I'm pretty sure the Ruger Wranglers, we announced them when they were first announced. I don't know if we talked about anyone actually stocking them. Northpro's got them. Northpro's got some Ruger Wrangler 22. These are 22 revolvers, and they're $294, which is pretty reasonable. I think some of those like really, really cheap 22 revolvers, they got some cowboy name to them. And they're like $200. Anyways, these are Rugers, so the quality's probably a lot better, and they're $300, which is pretty cheap for a pistol.
But it's a revolver.
But it's a revolver. Revolver 22s are kind of neat because there's no recoil. Like the thing I really every time I get into a revolver and I try it out again, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I hate revolvers. Is the bore over hand act, it's like way high, so you're always going to get a ton of flipperosity, and the grips on them are terrible too. There's nothing to grab onto. You got to curl your thumb, because if you put your thumb straight, it gets into the cylinder gap. Yeah, they're just not made for gaming, and that's why I don't like them.
They're just okay. I do admit they're fun to shoot, but yeah, they're not what I choose to shoot.
Only the most powerful revolvers, yeah. Just because, like, oh man, that is a ton of power coming back.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are cool. All right, why don't we head on to the main topic? All right, for our main topic, I've been looking at body armor recently, and I was asking some of the guys at Slamfire who to talk to about body armor and who knows their stuff around it. And Colin came highly recommended, so I thought we would like take 15-30 minutes and soak all the knowledge out of your head about body armor. Are you cool with that, Colin?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Colin, just for some background, you're a field officer with the CCFR. What else do you do?
I'm a retired veteran. I served 21 plus years with the Canadian Artillery. And most of my experience around body armor, I guess, would come from that, and also, from post-military.
Awesome. Well, maybe just to start off, I guess some people don't know you can own body armor in Canada. I know. Is it legal in all the provinces? I know in Alberta you need a PAL. You need a PAL to own body armor. The other provinces about the same thing?
I know Ontario, it doesn't matter. I'm not sure about the other provinces, though, but I have heard the same thing. Certain provinces, you require a PAL or some kind of proof that it's part of your lawful profession or something like that.
All right. And it also, the level of body armor that you can carry as well, it depends on the province, too.
Oh, really? So
Yep.
some you wouldn't be able to carry like level 4 plates or something like that.
Right. Yep. So so if you're going to buy them, you actually have to check out which province, what it is in your province.
Interesting. So what are the different levels of body armor anyways? I hear like level 1 or I, IV. Are those so like 1, 2, 3, and 4? But like what are all those levels for?
I think they're basically different levels of protection. I'm only really familiar with level 3 and level 4.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones I've primarily used.
Yep.
My last set of plates I had were actually issued plates from the military, NIJ level 3, and they were ceramic plates, but they were really thick. They were probably about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very heavy and big and square. And plates have come a long way since then.
Interesting. So you mentioned level. What's the difference between level 3 and level 4?
I think it's just the level of protection it affords you. Like, let's say level 3, I think would be good up to, let's say, 44 Magnum. Level 4, for example, the plates I have now are Nexus level 4. And they're rated for up to 308.
Oh, really? So that's good, right up to rifle then.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess if you're a cop, you might be able to get away with level 3 if you're just gonna face handgun. But if you're in the army and you're gonna start seeing rifle fire, I guess level 4 would be ideal if you can carry them, right?
Yeah, and certain armor isn't necessarily rated directly for gunfire. A lot of armor, especially like in military, is rated for things like fragmentation, from artillery rounds or grenades or things like that are common, in combat, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, airstrikes and mortars and that kind of thing. Yeah, that would definitely make a difference. You mentioned that your plates were ceramic and really thick. What's the technology? How has it changed since then? And what are the options today?
Well, I think they were a mix of ceramic and Kevlar. And the level 4 plates I have now are thinner and smaller and than the plates I had before, and a little bit lighter. So I'm not really sure what the difference is. A lot of it has to do with the manufacturing process, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of body armor is actually much like a motorcycle helmet. There's an expiry on it. When it comes to ceramic. So right there, that's one difference you have between steel plates and ceramic plates is ceramic has a bit of a shelf life.
Because it'll become more brittle. Correct?
It will. Yeah, it'll age over time. And it's exposed
just like
to elements and stuff like that,
right? Kidding. Not really.
So you were saying there, steel would typically be thinner than ceramic, I guess, then?
Yeah, it's typically thinner, and it's usually it's actually substantially heavier. So, when someone's considering purchasing armor, they have to consider a few different options and balance things out. I mean, excuse me, if you were doing, let's say, some guys even like to use plate carriers for things like CrossFit and training, running, stuff like that. So maybe they want steel plates. They want something a little heavier, because they're working out their body and stuff like that. If you're on the range all day and you're on your feet all day and you want to save your back a little bit, perhaps steel isn't what you're looking for. I know in the military, when it came to body armor, when it came to any piece of equipment, if there was a lighter piece of equipment, I would take that, especially if I had to wear it or carry it all day long, right? So ceramic has that advantage. Another thing with steel plates is they can take multiple strikes or multiple hits, whereas ceramic or Kevlar can start to break up and fall apart after multiple hits, and you can't squeeze another day out of a plate that's been shot or hit, so to speak, from a significant strike. But steel plates, you could probably, depending on what's coming at you or what hits you, you get another day out of it for sure.
Yeah. How do they, like, with a steel plate, you hit that, you're going to get fragmentation from that bullet going in all different directions. I imagine, like, having that plate on your chest is just going to basically, like, cut into your throat. How do they stop that on steel plates?
Yeah, on steel plates, you get something called spalding, right? And that's that fragmentation that you're talking of. So to try and mitigate that, a lot of them have a coating on them. And it's almost like, like that stuff guys spray on their bed liners or their trucks.
Truck bed liner. Yeah.
Kind of like Rhino liner. It's something like that. And it just tends to absorb a slight bit of that energy and kind of come apart, so to speak, or help absorb some of that as well. Because the last thing you want is, getting spalding in your face or anywhere in your body that can be very distracting when you're at the range, or if you're a law enforcement or something like that, you're charging into a room, that can be very distracting.
Yeah, well, and your junk is down there too, so if you take a low hit, it's going right down into your junk.
Possibly, especially if you're leaning forward, because that could ricochet and follow the plate downward, right?
Yeah. I guess that's where that anti-spall would be really good. That coating that they put on there. So how are people typically carrying these things? You mentioned plate carriers a couple of times. Like a plate carrier is like a vest. It's a jacket. What are we talking here?
Yeah, typically it's, I guess, like a vest, and police often use soft body armor, and it's a lot more comfortable. They can get in and out of their car a little easier. They can drive. They can function and do normal things a little bit easier. Whereas ceramic plates or steel, I know I've driven armored vehicles or Jeeps or things like that wearing plates, and it's kind of cumbersome. It's a little clumsy. It's not necessarily the best scenario. Whenever you don't have to wear plates is always a better thing, but
then what's the point of you gotta have the protection? I assume you're wearing them for some reason.
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah.
The protection it affords is a good comfort as well. People, you get some people out there, I guess you call them like the FUDs, right? And they'll look at guys wearing armor on the range and they kind of scoff at it and things like that. But I'll just give you one scenario. I think it was last year or the year before. I was a range officer for a precision rifle match, and everyone was doing shooting from all different positions, around obstacles, over top of things, shooting from very compromising positions. And one of the stands that I was actually supervising was they had a little plastic car, like type the kid would get inside and pedal, and they had to shoot off the roof. And this one fellow was preparing himself, and he was kind of crouching down, and his knee gave out, and he fell backwards, and he totally flagged me with his rifle. And I didn't have my plates on, and I thought, of all the times I wasn't wearing a plate, this had to happen. But luckily, nothing happened because of it. I was just lucky. But so many times, and the last 3 months, I've had 3 ricochets at the range hit me.
Hmm.
Either from something coming back from a backstop, something from an adjacent range, or Spalding coming off of some shrouded steel.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it happens a lot at 3-gun. It's never anything with enough energy to like really hurt. Well, not hurt, to really do any damage, as long as you're wearing ear pro, eye pro. But I don't know. Like, I guess you could take some shrapnel.
well, I don't know. You see, these glasses are a little bit.
Oh
They
yeah.
need a repair because it took a 45 slug on the side there. So I was always grateful to have them. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. So people will look at it and go, what do you need that for? Well, you know, it's like telling a carpenter, what do you need safety glasses for? Or what do you need, you know, a welder? What do you need a welding shield for? Well, it's just added protection. And if someone wants to wear it, what's the big deal, right?
Right. And then also you actually, for you or for somebody else who they use it, you can also, when you train, you can actually train according to actually how you work as well. So, hey, do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of guys wearing plates at 3-gun, and it's looked like really good exercise, and a really good test for their gear as well, because you know, some plate carriers, the fit might not be quite right. It's just like a backpack, right? Like going hiking or something like that. You get something that's not fit quite right, and you never use it to that level. You don't know how painfully out of fit it is, or how it's just like a terrible piece of equipment for you, unless you get 10, 12 hours in that thing. Then you know it for sure.
And here's the other thing: plate carriers often act as mag carriers, first aid carriers, radio. You know, like there's a lot of the stuff's like Lego. You can add or subtract what you want to it.
Yep.
It's a convenience thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, definitely. So if you were recommending like a plate or carrier setup for someone who didn't have any, what would you recommend at different budget levels, and what would those budget levels be?
Well, I've personally seen and used different levels of stuff, and you know what? Whatever a person can afford is always better than nothing. And the thing is the big difference between a lot of the plate carriers are just the features, the functions, and the convenience. For example, Condor puts out a really low profile plate carrier that doesn't really break the piggy bank. I think they're about $160, the one I was looking at originally. And there's nothing wrong with them. You can beat them up all day long and they'll take it. The next one I had was a 511 plate carrier, and nothing wrong with that. It's really well adjusted, lots of MOLLE on it, very comfortable. But there was some other features too that I didn't like about it. Like, for example, adjusting the yoke on the shoulders. They have this funny wire that goes through it and down along your back. And if you're, let's say you decide it's a cold winter day, you want to put on a jacket, you go to slide your plate carrier on and realize, man, this is a little bit too snug for comfort. Well, now you're screwing around for 10 minutes trying to readjust your plate carrier. You know, the one I have right now is, I really like it so far. I've had a chance to wear it around the range I just wore it for a few days of filming not too long ago. We were doing some online courses. And I really grew to like this vest because it had a lot of cool features on it. On either side, it has a quick release. On the left and right side, it's the Warrior Assault system. I have the Recon plate carrier. So it has a quick release on each side. You know, instead of having to undo Velcro every time you want to take it on or off, or slide it over your head. You know, my 511 one, I had it set up, and I would just kind of slide it over my head. And away you go. But the one I have now is great. I have it here, actually. I can show you.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. This is a show and tell show.
Yeah, it's a bit of a show and tell. Welcome to my bedroom here. So this is where all the magic happens.
The magic
Awesome.
is holding plate carriers. That's the magic right now.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So so here's a Nexus Level 3 helmet. A lot of cool features on that, but I can get into that later. We're talking about plate carriers now. So like I was saying, this one here, it's a little modular. See, I have a pouch down here.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Which one is that?
This is the Recon plate carrier
Okay.
from Warrior Assault Gear. Great stuff. And well, this pouch, all it does is it's just on by a Velcro tab here. And it has
That's-
a lot of different pockets and whatnot. You can put whatever you want in there, right?
Looks like a tactical fanny pack.
It looks like a tactical fanny pack, yes. So we're going to bring the fanny packs back in great style, though. And,
Does it have any armor in it to protect, what's down there, or no?
What's funny is that you actually can get a piece of armor that does fit in there to cover your more of your abdomen region. Now, of course, underneath here, it's easy to adjust it for width. You're having a jacket on or something like that. You can just lift this up, adjust these two, and away you go. But it also has these quick release here.
Cool.
You just pull it, and it comes apart. Some of the nicer plate carriers as well, you're going to see stuff like padding on the inside with some air channels. So those air channels, if you've worn plates for any length of time, you want something that has channels like that, so it allows
breathing
air movement and breathing. And also, this is like foam padding here. So if by chance, let's say, I know it's a ridiculous example, if you took a direct 308 shot, there's a lot of foot-pounds of force there, and this will help absorb some of that. I mean, it's like getting kicked in the chest, right? But if you had that, it's a little bit better. So that channeling, that foam, that's a nice comfort feature. Remember I was telling you before about the 511 ones and how the yoke is hard to adjust?
Yep.
This one basically is just you pull this Velcro off here, and then there's more Velcro, and it's easy to adjust. It takes you seconds as opposed to 10 minutes with the 511 one. That's something I really appreciate about it. So
Sorry, but what was the cost on that?
The cost?
Or do you want to tell?
Oh, no. I think I paid, give or take, about $360 for this plate carrier.
Okay. Does that ever include everything, like the pouches as well as the plates as well, or?
That was a bare bones vest, just the vest. These two pouches are high speed gear pouches.
Yep.
And I like them because I'll show you why.
Those are the HSGI tacos.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they are. And your mags can just fit in there with tension, right?
Yep.
Which is nice. There's no, like I have this one here. This was one I had on my old 511, and it has the bungee on top for your mags.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially where speed's important, let's say you're at a competition or you're trying to shoot quickly and do quick transitions and mag changes, you don't want to be messing around with Velcro. I mean, you could pull it aside, to the side of your mag, but still, it's just extra fine motor skills that you don't want, especially when speed's involved. Your fine motor skills go right out the window, and you have to rely on gross motor skills. That's why a lot of your drills at the range should be focused around gross motor skills, because they're going to get you through under stress, right?
Yeah.
So also this vest here, what's cool about it is this front panel can come off quickly. Right?
Oh.
So here's a setup for like AR-15, and I have a couple mags for my SIG.
Right.
But let's say I had another setup I wanted for a shotgun, or 3-gun, or whatever, right? It's just like Lego. You just snap it all on there, and away you go. You're done.
Adriel, are you having envy?
Some guys run the vest setups for 3-gun, and I would say that they are modular, and they can carry more stuff on a vest. But for pure speed, the belt stuff it's straight up gamer stuff that we run in 3-gun. It would not work in a tactical situation.
Well, here you go. Talking about belts, this is also Warrior Assault Gear, and I like this. It's set up very similar to like a IPSC belt. This is like an inner outer, exactly. That goes in your pants, and then that just goes over top with a Cobra buckle to keep it all secure. I really like it.
Yeah, and that would probably work. You'd have to get something that works with your vest, because you wouldn't want to have like a mag that gets stuck under the vest or the carrier or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, it's good to have stuff that's already been, everyone's worked the bugs out of it. A lot of a lot of tier 1 units and stuff are using this gear, and they're using it because it's functional, it works, and it's simple and it's reliable. One thing, in terms of belts are, I really like their, this is also Warrior Assault gear. I kind of like these taco pouches I had before, and I put them on the vest, but this is one of their products I kind of like. It's their holster, and I set it up actually for my 226. It just slides in, and it's a thumb drive. So you push this button here. Mm-hmm. What it does is when it goes in, it snaps, it holds on to your trigger guard, right?
Yep.
So what's cool is that you can use, here's my CZ Shadow. Fits in there perfect. But hang on a sec. Have you ever tried to find a holster for a Desert Eagle? Have you ever? Because I tell you, there's a few like holsters I found. Some of them are like Magnum PI, big leather, it's like wearing a bra,
shoulder,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't wear those at the range. But this one here is kind of cool because all you do is, this adjusts for any size firearm. You just open up these tabs here.
I didn't know that this existed.
No, me neither.
Well, see, place your pistol in there, and then you just wrap it back up again. Of course, I'm fighting Velcro here.
Yeah, on a timer. In front of a live studio audience, Beep. Online audience.
Okay, well, there you go. It only took me a few seconds. Now look.
Sweet.
Oh. So what is it?
Sorry, what were you saying?
So what's the name of the holster, Or it's just on their website, though.
It's on their website. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, half the time, I'm spoiled. I just go and I see Scott or Josh, and I say, "Hey, this is what I need," and they go, "Well, here you go."
Yeah.
Who's the manufacturer? Who makes that?
This is from Warrior Assault Gear. If you go to Black Bear Gear, they carry all this stuff, and it's fantastic stuff. It all works together. It's great. Yep. I say kind of buy once, cry once, right? So, and I also wanted to do some night shooting next spring. I get a lot of interest in people wanting to shoot with NVGs or stuff like that. So, of course, on the Nexus Level 3 helmet, you have an NVG mount, foam padding. This is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a BOA dialer. It loosens or tightens, kind of up to the back of your head, much like
kind of like a hard hat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like a hard hat.
It'll take a round though.
Yeah. We had some people that were asking about it. What about helmets? Your recommendation? I know that you recommend wearing it. I've seen you with it on. So, what's the average cost for a helmet?
It depends. I've seen them anywhere from $700 to $1,200.
Okay.
This is a Nexus, and it has the BOA or the arc rails on it, and you can also attach your ear defenders on there too.
Cool.
So
I've seen that setup. That's slick.
Yeah, I'm one of those kids. I should probably actually wear this helmet 24/7 because I've hit my head quite a bit, and and you know what? Having your earmuffs attached, just one more piece of kit that's attached to something that you don't have to look for is great. You can add lights to it. A lot of guys like to put a GoPro on the front.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can get actual GoPro mount, and that I'm actually interested in that because I want to take this CZ Shadow 2 and actually run it against time and challenge myself with different drills. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, here's the slickest part of this whole helmet. I mean, I would have spent the money just for this. It almost has like a little magnetic slide lock.
Oh.
There's no button or anything.
No D loop.
No.
Yeah.
D ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's putting it on, but we don't see it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Look all tactical in your bedroom.
Well, it's usually like this. The only thing missing is a pound of bacon, and we're all in there. Yeah, so I mean, this dialer on the back, it really snugs things up to your head.
Yep.
It's a good fit. It does move around. It should be like a motorcycle helmet, right? It should.
Yeah.
You should be able to move your head around, and it doesn't wiggle too much, so it's good and firm.
Right.
But you can still talk and stuff like that. Great
Sure.
thing is, see, I lift up.
Mhm.
It's good to go. Well, my side buckle let go on me because I didn't do it up properly. But this little buckle here, it's time to be cool and stuff. Look, this comes off like nothing.
I do have a question. We see a lot of people wearing plate carriers and people telling them they're wearing them wrong. So, when you're
Sure.
wearing your plate carrier, where should you have the top of the plate carrier? Where should you have it at the bottom?
Okay, well,
Over, under jackets, that type of thing.
usually a good rule of thumb is the top of your plate carrier should sit about where your collarbone
Collarbone is.
Approximately. It's too high, it can be choking you a little bit, and if it's too low, it can be sloppy and it can get in the way when you're trying to aim. That's another thing is when you're getting plates, you want to get something that has a shooter's cut to it, right? Which means the corners are cut off.
Mhm.
My old plates I had, the level 3 military ones, they were big and heavy and bulky and all that stuff. And when you would go to present a
Present?
firearm, when you go to present, your biceps would be hitting it. And I could never really straighten my arms. I was always shooting like this. At least with the shooter's cut, now I can push out a little further. And that's a nice consideration, especially if you're looking to buy used body armor. A lot of the older stuff is very square. It doesn't have those shooter's cuts. So.
Yeah, I was looking at some online, and I saw that they were selling the just straight rectangles and then the shooter's cut at the same price. And I'm like, why are people buying the old ones? They must have old plate carriers that they're replacing, right? Because I would think that shooter's cut is the way you'd want to rock and roll most of the time.
Great. He's
Just
putting
have-
it on. Other people wanted him to put it on, so. He had the helmet on. Let's put on the plate carrier. While you're putting it on as well, you were talking about you can get additions for it so that you can cover your abdomen and I can't even say you know what I'm talking
Your
about.
junk. Your junk.
Yeah, your
junk.
Yeah.
So you can get additions as well.
Yeah, you can get extra armor. You can get side panels.
Yep.
Go right here in the sides.
Yeah.
And all that is a couple Velcro loops. It goes in seconds if that's what you choose to do.
Right.
I never had that the luxury of the side plates. Typically, for military purposes, we would always present and shoot facing
on.
forward.
Yeah.
And that's another consideration that people need to know when they're shooting, especially with a rifle or a carbine, is you can't necessarily shoot like you're normally used to shooting.
Yeah.
I'll show you. So, you adjust the buttstock on your rifle to adjust it properly, right? Like this would be perfect normally, but look, this is awkward.
Too far out, yeah.
And it's too far out. So you have to shorten it up at least the thickness of your plates.
Yeah.
And typically I'd put mine right in the chest, as close to the side of your face so it just comes straight up.
Right.
Just like that.
And the reason is you present straight on so that you don't give them anything to shoot at, basically, because you don't have any side protection unless you're wearing the side plates as well.
Exactly. You want to
Right.
have your plates facing the threat, not your rib cage. So
Right. Have you ever actually had any experience with the plates and the vest with respect to stabbing? Like we're at work, we wear level 3s at work because of stabbing, but yeah. So have you ever taken that into consideration when you were doing your plate carriers?
Stabbing, not so much. I know that some hard plates, I definitely feel confident, that nothing's getting through those plates if a bullet's not, and I doubt a knife will either.
Yeah.
But, everything has its pros and its cons. A plate carrier can also be bad too.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is plate carriers are great if you have some standoff distance, let's say, if it's a two-way range. But plate carriers can be horrible in the sense that this gives somebody something to grab onto. If we were,
grappling,
it'd be something people can grab onto and toss you around with. So, but I mean, for my purposes, I'm just wearing them at the range for protection and convenience of, mags, first aid kit, pistol, holster, all that good stuff.
Right. By the way, Tracy says you're tactical. She loves you.
She said tacti-hot.
Tacti-hot. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. She's just saying that. See, and another good reason why I got a quick release.
Oh,
lost one.
Yeah,
you lost one of your ones. That's okay. But yeah, those are some of the considerations to keep in mind. Comfort, breathability, adaptability, and that kind of thing. You're just paying for different levels of convenience, comfort, adjustability, stuff like that, and protection ultimately.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, I think that's been a really good overview of body armor, and I think that I've definitely got a lot more information on what you can get out there. It looks like about $1,000 for your basic plate carrier setup.
Yeah, I'm about $600 for the plates I have now. That was on about $100 off. About $360 for the vest, so that's about $1,000, and I haven't even put a mag holder on it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Helmet usually $700-800 on average.
Yeah, cool. Well, if anyone else out there wants to pick up a set, I guess that's a going price. Thanks for coming on again, Colin. This has been really interesting, and I've been really Now I know what to look for.
Sure, there's lots of things to look for sure. But ultimately, for a lot of people, it comes down to price. So don't be afraid to buy something that's a great deal and save up for something better if that's what you want.
I do have a quick question about that. You were talking about buying secondhand or used, right? Mm-hmm. How confident are you in that? So if somebody says, "Well, I can't afford $1,000, but maybe I can do 500," are you confident in somebody basically taking a chance on that? Will they get a good deal?
On a plate carrier, no problem. On ceramic plates or Kevlar plates, I prefer to buy brand new because then I know what I'm getting, and I know it's not something old and brittle like you were saying.
Yeah.
When it comes to steel plates, I mean, you could take one look at it and see what kind of condition it is. There's no hidden agenda with steel, but a lot of times the Kevlar plates are covered in layers of Kevlar and has an outer shell. So you can't really see beneath that. You can't see what kind of damage it had. If someone dropped it on the floor, has someone actually shot at it at the range just to see how it is?
For giggles?
And then for giggles, and then tried to sell it to you. You don't really know.
Yeah.
So if you're just using it for the range, go ahead, buy something, used. But if my life depended on it, I'd buy brand new.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions, Kelly?
No, I've been butting in. Sorry.
That's good. Colin, do you have anything to plug before we cut you loose?
I don't know. Here's some other considerations for you. When you're buying your vest, consider some of the gear that you're going to be putting it on. Like here's an old Condor belt I have, and you can see how these kind of attach.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't work with my current setup. My current setup is set for Molly. So also keep that in mind when you're buying a setup. Consider the mag pouches you have or what you're going to put on it, and see if they're going to be compatible before you invest your money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin.
Get into Molly or. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to plug the store you work at, or the CCFR?
Yeah. Well, big shout out to Danger Dev there at Valley Guns and Jeff Smith. Thanks a lot. They're my go-to guys for everything that I break when I'm out having fun. I bring it, and those guys usually hook me up and help me out. And big shout out to the CCFR because they're the ones fighting for our future to enjoy our sport. And whether it's sport shooting, hunting, or whatever, they're out there fighting for you every day. So, we should all invest in our future. So go get a membership and buy the insurance. It's worth it.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show, Colin.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks again to Colin for coming on and telling us all about body armor in Canada. Listener feedback. I think we've been answering the stuff on Facebook Live as we've been going.
Yep.
One person was saying, "Hey, you guys streaming live on YouTube?" And no, because YouTube's terms and conditions say that you can't handle firearms on a live stream. So we can't do show and tell, and if we can't do show and tell, there's no point.
Yeah.
Are you handling a firearm, Kelly?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Because otherwise, like we could have streamed on YouTube today, but Kelly's handling her AR. Sorry, guys.
Hey,
can't do
it's
it
after the fact that we've already started.
You showed it before too.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so that's why we're on Facebook, and if Facebook kicks us off, maybe we'll go to Streamer or Gunstreamer or BitChute or Pornhub or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
we start our own.
No.
We don't want to do that.
It sounds hard. It sounds like a lot of technology.
It sounds like Adriel's job. Okay.
Do we have any other comments here that we haven't addressed as we've been going? So people mentioning there's a lot of questions about the body arm, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of Chinese stuff that's one thing I wanted to ask Colin about the Chinese body armor. You can get like some real cheap body armor plates, and they're like textile, they're like fiberglass and a bunch of stuff. They probably only work for pistol rounds and probably not really well at that.
I'm thinking that you probably don't want to count your life on it, so don't buy it.
I wasn't going to anyways, except to put holes in it. That would be fun. I think Tal Flatermouse got some, and he was showing on YouTube like him shooting them. So, yeah.
Go over to his YouTube and have a look, and yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right, let's get on to listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. Based in New Brunswick. Super cool guy. Does gun stuff. And I think he's doing optics mounting on pistols now. I think Trevor was mentioning that. So if you have one of those non-optics ready pistols that's obsolete and you want to like get with the times, you can send your slide over to him and be like, yo, cut this for a plate. And he'll cut it for a plate and you can put a red dot on there like all the cool kids.
Right.
Did you want to take this first one from Tim?
Sure. It's from Tim. It says, hello. First off, just wanted to say that I love the show. Thanks, Tim. I'm not sure who is reading this. It'd be me, Kelly. But I met you, and you put in brackets, Kelly, today at SFRC and talked to you or her ear off about Maple City 3-gun, PCC, and Black Badge. He actually didn't talk my ear off, but it was really good to chat with him. I really appreciate the time that she spent with chatting with me about these things and introducing me to Kelly Kincaid. It was a pleasure meeting you and keep up the good work, and thanks again. So I just wanted to say hi, Tim, and you're welcome, and it was a pleasure to see you, and I'll send that stuff out to you. I'll send that stuff out to you. Anyways, cool. Thanks for the email.
Second one here is from Ernie S. Don't know if it's been covered, but how about discussing gunsmith tools? What's essential, wish list, who makes quality tools, and so on. Trevor must have 1,101 tips. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love how we put that all in. Yeah, and that's from Ernie.
So Ernie was talking about doing an actual show on a main topic too. So,
who has the power to do this? I could just stick it in. Where's Trevor's date? Right there.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, talk about gunsmithing.
Smithing tools.
I think because it's smithing too, you have to like talk about having a forge and melting metal.
Oh, we should have Owen on then.
He would know about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He could smith me up a revolver, right?
Well,
because that's like old timey and cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, but gunsmith, and we have, blacksmith.
Mm.
So Gunsmith would be Denis-ish.
And Trevor, kind of.
Trevor.
And me, kind of. I have a Dremel. I am a gunsmith. There's your tool recommendation, Ernie. Dremel. Yeah. Dremel, a grinder if you want to make quick work. A Dremel if you want to take your time.
Yeah. And then, No. So maybe what we can do is, so did you already put it in there, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I put it up top. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Ernie, we will have it. It's already been penciled into the calendar.
Mm-hmm. I have to change the date, but whatever.
All right.
One other thing I wanted to mention, it wasn't in an email, but actually Tim and Jordan both mentioned about the A22. I was talking about it on the last show. The Savage A22. So I was saying, oh yeah, this pin's really convenient. They were saying, well, that pin really should be metal because you can actually pierce it or break it, and that's no good. And that bolt, as it's coming out of the gun, it needs to tilt up a little bit. If your scope is too low, it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
So some of those pros they've got some like asterisks and that weird looking T that means that there's other weird stuff down below that you have to think about, their terms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple people mentioned to me that the Savage 64 is not fantastic, and I agree. Yeah. Do you have podcast? Sorry, if you would like to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com, and
cool.
We'll probably read it on the air.
Maybe.
We'll have to sift through the mailbag, and we just pick the best ones out of there.
We read everything.
We read everything.
If you guys have events that are taking place, email them to us, and I'll put them in the events page. I'm talking to you, Ryan McLean.
That's a good point. Yeah, because we're always trying to help get more people into competitive shooting, and I think that that's important for our sport, and it's important to fill up those events and make them successful.
Yeah, or if you're having a ladies' day, just saying.
Yeah. Podcast app reviews. So if you're listening to us on a podcast app, go ahead and like us and subscribe.
Do people do that anymore?
Mash that like button and hit the upvote with the thumbs up, and hit the heart button on there a couple of times. And I don't know. I guess it depends on the app. Like my app doesn't allow to do that kind of thing. I know iTunes still does, so it'll help over there. Maybe Podbean and Podcaster and Streamer and Sketcher and some of these other ones have something
Stitcher.
like that. Stitcher?
Not Sketcher. Sketchers are shoes.
Yeah. Sketchy Stitchers. Whatever.
Yes. But nobody's does anybody leave reviews anymore? Like, really? Do you?
I haven't actually checked recently. So maybe?
There is an app that we can check that we can see if people. Anyways, okay.
You have to ask Stacy. She was doing that. Maybe she stopped. I don't know.
I think no.
No.
I think she generally does. She gets notifications.
Then she'd tell us. Yeah. Kelly, do you have any shout-outs?
I have a shout out to all the ladies that came out to sign. Well, not all the ladies, the 3 ladies that came out to sign the calendars. So Jen, Tamara, and Bailey, and Kelly for helping out with that, and also Greg Weiss coming as well, and as I said, Marcy and Ryan for hosting us. It was awesome, fantastic,
sweet.
What about you?
No shout-outs for me. Patreon supporters, if you'd like to help support the podcast, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio, and you can choose to donate however much you want to per month, and we'll send you a patch and sticker in the mail, which I haven't done since before Christmas, but I will do at the end of this month. I'll send another batch out to anyone who's new, who is subscribed. Finally, you can also help support the show by visiting our website and clicking on the links for Cabela's and buying through there. So if you're going to buy something from Cabela's anyways, click on the link and Cabela's will slip us like a cool 2% or whatever that sale is under the table.
So if it's $20, yeah, 2%.
Don't make me do math. It's like 40 cents.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo! That's when we really get crazy over here. We
Yeah,
buy some extra chamber flags with those 40 cents.
40 cents. That's one chamber flag.
Okay, let's say one more chamber flag. It'll make the difference in someone's
Do we buy
life.
chamber flags?
I don't know.
We should have. Okay.
We should. That'd be kind of neat.
We should do branding.
Oh, we should do chamber flags. That is actually not a bad idea. We could take the Slamfire radio, put on chamber flags, and put them out with the stickers and patches.
I have a link for that.
I know you have a link for that. All right. Please join a national firearms association such as the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. We're at 2,322 likes, and we are closing the gap on those homeless children. And take some friends and coworkers out to the shooting range and win some hearts and minds.
Sweet.
Sweet. Thanks for watching, everyone.